Hi there, and welcome to the Everyday Entrepreneur Podcast, where I, Caitlin Fritz, help you reach your entrepreneurial potential. Together, we can build your dream social impact business so that you can leave a legacy beyond your 9-to-5. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Everyday Entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Caitlin Fritz, and I'm an award-winning entrepreneur, enterprise educator, and business coach who supported over 750 founders worldwide to build, grow, and scale their impact-led businesses. And if you're new here, welcome, pull up a seat, get that cup of coffee, tea. I'm so glad you're here. And if you're returning, thank you again for your incredible support. And I'm excited because this week we're sharing an awesome episode with a founder that has an incredible story and an awesome product. So we're going to be jumping into a conversation with Enye Auka and her business Beam. Beam is an incredible sun protection skincare brand that not only makes, protecting yourself from the sun, SPF, more enjoyable and enriching for your skin, but it's also about the process of making this what I would consider a daily habit, fun and enjoyable for all. Enye has a really awesome story that we dig into in this interview about, how she became a beauty brand founder with a team of one. Yes, you heard that right. She's going to be unpacking what it's like to work with a chemist, understand how to make your own niche in the beauty biz, and also get your product out there in front of the eyes of hundreds through Kickstarter. So let's welcome Enye to the show. All right, Enye, I know we're in the midst of your Kickstarter with your incredible business, Beam, but let's go back to your roots. How did you get started on building a beauty brand, and what was your kind of professional journey before entering into entrepreneurship?
So my journey with building a beauty brand, I would say I've always wanted a brand, but I didn't really know if it was beauty, primarily. So I actually come from a fashion background. So I went to uni and studied fashion buying, and I don't know if anyone knows that. So a fashion buyer is basically we work in like a retailer or a store or company, and then we bring in new products for customers to buy, and we're all about trends and everything like that. So basically everything you see in stores, buyers bring it into the company for consumers to buy it. So I always wanted to work in fashion. I did loads of internships and I figured out I was not going to do fashion anymore. I just didn't enjoy it. People were coming out the bathroom in one of my internships crying, and I was like, yeah, that's the end of it for me. But I really wanted to work in beauty, and I was living in London at the time, and there was a role at Boots in their buying office, and I really wanted it so badly. I went to Nottingham, I think I was 18 or 19 for this job, and I was like, I need to get this job. I've come all the way, and that's kind of when I really realized I wanted to be in the beauty industry. I managed to get the job in buying. It was fragrance. So I used to buy a lot of the fragrance at Boots, and it was the best job ever. But I loved everything about fragrance, like scents and just what it feels like when you've got a scent for you, and you just really you remember it. I just loved everything about it. But I started working with loads of brands, and I would bring loads of products to life. And I realized I really enjoy doing this. I love seeing all these brands come to life, all these newness come to life. I'm like, I wish I could really do this. And I did loads of roles in other brands, and bringing their products to life. And that's kind of really when I realized I really wanted a beauty brand of my own, or a wellness brand. I wasn't sure what it was. And that's kind of how I got into it. And I did loads of beauty buying roles, and I kept on doing it, and I just wasn't getting satisfied. And then the sun care market was kind of where I really wanted to be in, because I wasn't seeing a lot of innovation in that space. I was seeing loads of brands going like, "Oh, we want to protect," and that's what it's meant to do. Obviously, it is that's what it's meant to primarily do. But I wasn't seeing anything more. Everyone was kind of just reshaping the marketing around it, but still saying with the same message. And I didn't. It didn't like entice me to wear sunscreen more, if that made any sense. It didn't. I was like, okay, cool. And then I wasn't reapplying sunscreen. So that was another problem. Brands were banging on about, wearing sunscreen, but actually wasn't even reapplying it. So truthfully, I'm not even sure the sunscreen was working really, because I never reapplied it. But when I grew up, when I never wore sunscreen from a young age. Like my parents never like made us wear sunscreen, and my mom still this till this day, she doesn't believe in wearing sunscreen. She doesn't think she actually needs sunscreen. Yeah, it's insane. And it's just like the mentality of being brought up in like an African home. A lot of African parents don't believe that you need sunscreen, because they kind of feel like we're like invisible to it, like the sun, but it actually causes a lot of damage and obviously skin cancer. So yeah. There's a lot of issues surrounding that, but that's kind of really why I got into like the beauty side of Beam, and why I really wanted to create a sun care product. But yeah, if that sums it up if to answer your question.
No, I love that, because I do think, you have kind of like the bread and butter greasy sunscreens that is
Yeah,
not appealing to anyone, or you have the super bougie, crazy, unaffordable ones for, the normal consumer. So you kind of have polar ends, and you step in as this new innovation. But like, what is it even like starting a beauty brand? Because I know before this we were talking, your very first sample looked like it was in, one of those containers you get for like airport travel spray. Like, how does
exactly.
someone even start?
Yeah, I honestly was a mess when I knew I wanted to create a sunscreen brand, because like I said, I've worked as a buyer, but I always see the end product. I've never seen, like really the sample, like, or how it gets there. Brands just go, "Oh, we want to bring this product to market and launch it in whatever," and here it is. And, but like I've never, and we never see like how they get there. So I worked on the branded side, so I never really saw like all from scratch building it. So honestly, it was pretty overwhelming. Luckily, my friend was actually building a body care brand at the same time. So we are just in the same boat of trying to figure things out with launching our products. And she was like, "I've got this chemist who I'm working with. She's worked with so many brands out there. She's like, you need to, work with her, because she knows a lot, and she's also done sun care products." I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing," because like I don't even know what to do, and I was flapping about for like a good 2-3 months, and I started researching more like manufacturers. But then I decided on my chemist. But there's two ways about going up. You can either get like a chemist, or you can go down the manufacturer route, where they do like they develop it for you, like my chemist does. They produce the sunscreen, they order like your ingredients, they fill your products for you. So I've kind of split mine. Yeah, I've split mine, because I really wanted someone to be more hands-on, rather than everyone doing all the bits
Mhm.
in everywhere. So that's basically, luckily, I knew someone who was in the same boat, and um, it was just great connecting with someone who was just flapping about like I was, if I'm honest, because we just didn't really know what was going on, but we kind of figured it out, and we've gotten to this point. So yeah.
No, because I think that's really important. Because honestly, when you're thinking of a brand like this and the complexities, you're talking about chemists here. Like,
Yeah.
k- how did you do this as basically a solo founder, and has your team expanded? And I would imagine at some point it would be quite capital intensive. How did you go about doing this?
There's no team. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah,
So,
it's you, yourself, and you.
it's just me. It's just me. I just want to put that out there because I get loads of messages from people going, "Oh, your team and you've done really well," and then I'm just like, "It's just been me." And honestly, it's been a lot. I'm not gonna lie. So I do work a full-time job at the moment, just because there's no way I would be able to fund the business, and I don't have, I don't know, like some rich grandmother or aunt that has, money waiting for me in the bank for me to start my new venture or anything. I've had to work, to get this to this point and sacrifice a lot of things that I really want to do. So, it's been a lot of saving and even literally asking people for help. There was a time I had to do like a mini friends and family round with my family, and I really didn't tell anyone. I think I told like maybe a few people in my family and my neighbors, and I got like, yeah, I got like some money from my neighbor and she was amazing, but that truthfully didn't pay for much. It only paid for like a month of my designer, and that was like that's the only cost anyone has given me, or like, so it only helped with like a month's cost of my designer, which was super helpful because my brand wouldn't be what it is due to, her. So she made it amazing.
No, that makes total sense, because I think when people, like, this is the honest truth of it though, like most people don't have that pot of money sitting there for their venture. It's messy all in between. So
Yeah.
then obviously, one, I love your branding and design. So then when did Beam kind of take its like final iteration?
I would say like maybe at the start of the year or maybe around March or something. Um, but around then I was still kind of asking people to test the products because people are trying the products, they have their own lives, like it takes a lot of time to actually get that feedback from people. So that took a while, if I'm honest, to get that feedback and get some reviews. But I would say around March we had also changed the packaging, so it actually wasn't meant to be in an aerosol. It was meant to be, yeah, in a PCR bottle, and it was actually going to be clear, like the clear liquid. I don't know if you saw in the image, but it was only meant to be like a really clear liquid. But we had to change it because the first formula was actually super drying, and I wanted it to be hydrating. I do have oily skin, but I didn't want it to be super drying on anyone who has like sensitive skin, because any sort of like product ingredients that can trigger like anything in their skin. So we had to change the formula, and the formula that suited our new formula was best in an aerosol. So that's literally why we had to change it. So I think I spent like a week like non-stop emailing aerosol manufacturers, and it's probably like the hardest thing to do because aerosol manufacturers are quite difficult to find, and also they require you to have like 25,000 minimum order units. Yeah.
Oof.
So I had to find one that could not do 25,000 units, so because I just thought it was so like impossible. I was just like, there's no way I'm able to sell 25,000 units, that's like, or even buy 25,000 units. It was crazy, so I had to literally like, it took me a week, yeah, to find a new manufacturer to get an aerosol.
Oh gosh. I mean, that's like the hurdles of it though, because I think as you iterate all these, you get new problems, I
Yeah,
guess, in a way.
all the time. There's something new every day, not even a week, every single day. There's something new.
Absolutely. So then, like, you mentioned before, you were really interested in the sun care market. You started working with your chemist, your designer. So can you share with everyone like what makes Beam so unique compared to other kind of sunscreens
Yeah.
on the market? Because if you're listening and you've seen me, you know I'm pasty and I wear sunscreen at like 7 p.m. at night. So like tell me what makes Beam so special? And obviously, we're all going to add it to our cards.
Yeah, of course. So Beam is the world's first sunscreen that helps to reduce stress on your skin. And we do that by incorporating clinically proven ingredients that do that. And we also kind of elevate like your well-being. We want people to feel more like happy and like uplifted with our scent. So we've got a scented SPF, and we also have a non-scented for people who don't like scents. But if for anyone who does like scent, we've got a scent that helps to kind of like uplift your mood, and we worked with an aromatherapist who kind of helped us like create the scent, and like also a fragrance house as well. So it was just a whole rounder of making sure that we were creating something that actually worked, and with people who knew what they were doing.
That is incredible. And I think just going back to that kind of what makes Beam unique, did you go through any periods of just like imposter syndrome or fear, like what's stopping Boots or some big box store from snatching your product? Because I know a lot of consumer entrepreneurs get really worried about that.
All the time, all the time. But I did think, if they would have done it, they would have done it
Mm.
already. Like, why wouldn't they have done it already? And I would say the reason why they've probably not done it is because they want to see someone else do it first. Yeah, I would say that. And if I'm honest, at this point, I would be honored if they copied me because I know I created it first. So I really don't have anything to prove to anyone else because everyone knows I did it first. And I think that would actually just make sure that like I know what I'm doing, if I'm honest. So no, and usually like I don't know if you know, but a lot of investors will ask, what stops, like you said, Boots from copying you? And that's actually a question investors will ask you because they also want to know, because anyone can copy you. So yeah, it's the reality of being an entrepreneur, isn't it? I don't think anyone's idea is really new. It's just a updated version of something that already exists out there. But yeah.
No, I think that's we're preaching the same thing. It's who executes it. Like there's
Yeah.
lots of good ideas, but if you don't
Yeah.
execute it, then
Yeah. Yeah.
it sits on the shelf.
Exactly. And like Boots doesn't have my story. So there's a reason why I created Beam. I didn't just create it because I wanted to put something on the market. I created it out because my skin was stressed and it was visibly showing. And I basically was so burnt out from work that looked so I didn't look any recognizable, and people didn't even know it was me. And basically, I don't know if anyone knows listening to this, when your skin is stressed, your skin is more sensitive to the sun, and it actually causes more damage. And I wasn't wearing enough sunscreen, so it was actually making it even worse. So that's why it's so important to reapply your sunscreen, especially when your skin is stressed, because you're actually causing further damage onto your skin. I don't think Boots can tell that story about they stressed skin, so I think that's where it ends.
No, I think that's so true. And I think like your personal story, which if you guys haven't followed Anya, you need to, because just seeing some of her videos and posts, like this is a real you're going out there to solve a real problem you faced and other women face. And what I love as well, I think everyone faces, it's not just women, but you're targeting a market. I know this is applicable to everyone, but like you mentioned, like a lot of women in color, Asian women, we think there's this myth that more melanin means you're protected from the sun,
No.
but skin cancer, all these things affect everyone.
Yeah, it does. It affects everyone. I would say primarily in people who are like black or a person of color. It actually happens in our nails, like in our like it's a weird thing. Yeah, it's a very strange thing, but we do get skin cancer. I have met people of color who have had skin cancer, and people just don't know. Yeah, and it's just ingrained in them, I guess. That's the difficult thing.
And that's why I think like if you're making this whole experience more fun and enjoyable and relaxing, like it's something you want to do.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm curious, now you're live on Kickstarter, which the link will be in the show note, guys, because you have to try this out, obviously. Why'd you decide Kickstarter? People have a love-hate relationship. I'm
Oh, I
curious.
know, I know, I know. It's so weird. So it's such a weird thing. Someone actually in my family was like, "Why did you do Kickstarter?" Like they're like, "I don't like Kickstarter." I'm like, "Okay, well, it's too late. Well, I need your support. You're gonna have to help me because I'm live." But yeah, honestly, I don't know if anyone knows listening to this. There's a brand called Fussy. And I love the brand. Like I love their DNA, I love everything. And I was doing loads of digging after, like, I don't know, one day after I just love, I don't know, I just had like this moment. Anyways, I found out they launched their product on Kickstarter, and I was like, whoa. I was like, I've never heard of this, website. And how on earth did they raise so much money for their product even before launching on their website, which is insane to me. I was like, I can't believe people have, if I'm honest, I love them. People pay so much for deodorant. I couldn't believe it. That's what I thought. I'm sorry. I love them. I was like, I couldn't believe how much they've raised on this on Kickstarter. Usually the amount they raise is what, investors would give, to people. Like,
Right?
so I was astonished. I was like, I've never seen this before. And I just loved their stories. So I actually reached out to Matt, the founder, and I was like, oh my God, please tell me how you did it. Just tell me how. And he actually created this amazing blog post. I'll share with you. You definitely need to check it out. And it's the most detailed blog post I've ever read in my life. And it's the best thing. And it's basically gotten me to this point, where I've been able to launch Beam on Kickstarter. So basically, I wanted to also kind of see, like, if anyone was really interested in the product. I had loads of people try it, which is great. They said it was nice, but I don't even know if they said if it was nice, because they were just doing me a favor. So I was like, um, like, okay, let's see if actually anyone's gonna buy it. That's the real test, truthfully. I had loads of people say they really loved it. I had family who tested it as well. They were like, oh, friends, and they said they loved it. Like, but I was like, okay, let's see if anyone actually buys it. So I really wanted to test to see if there was a market for it, like I believed it was. And that's kind of where Kickstarter came in. I thought it would be a great start. And if I'm honest, I was applying to loads of grants. And I won one grant from an accelerator, which helped me develop the formula. So that's how also I was able to pay my chemist. That was the only funding I had received. But regardless, that's all I had. So, and I needed to move the kickstart. I needed that funding to fund the business, and it's not just funding that I could get with my monthly salary. I needed a huge bulk of it to pay to manufacturers who need that big sum. They can't just take my monthly payments. So Kickstarter is basically the only way I could fund, I would say, Beams, so that we are able to go into manufacturing. And yeah, that's basically why I wanted to go down the Kickstarter route.
I love that. No, I think Kickstarter, it's a really good platform to once again test the market. And I have to ask because I know people are going to ask. Did you also do all your Kickstarter stuff yourself as well?
No, I did not. There's no way I did that on my own. I did work with someone. So I hired someone to help me with my page. So they wrote the copy, and they also helped me record my video, which is probably the worst thing. I don't like anything like that. It was terrible reading and trying to memorize the script and record in front of the camera. I did not enjoy that one bit. But it is what it is, because that's what the platform wants you to do, all these things. And so yeah, they basically wrote the copy for my page. I also did hire a Kickstarter coach. I really invested a lot into Kickstarter, and I would say also myself. I also took a Facebook ads course. I signed up to a Facebook ads course because I didn't I know there's loads of things on YouTube about how to run Facebook ads, but I really wanted something to like be like step one, step two, like do this, do like I didn't. It was too chaotic on YouTube, so I was like, I'm not doing that. So I had to learn. I basically learned how to run Facebook ads for my Kickstarter because I don't know, people were telling me how much it was, to pay someone, and I was like, yeah, that's a no. I'm like, I really no, but I understand why people pay people because it's a lot of work of running Facebook ads. You need to check it like constantly. You need to track a lot of things. So I understand why people charge what they do to, you know, get like, charge people for Facebook ads because it's a lot of work. It's like another job as well.
On top of the already
Yeah.
tons of work you already have.
Yeah, all the other jobs I have. But yeah, I would say those are the only things I help. My designer also created like the graphics on the page for for how it looks like right now. So she's amazing. So those three people kind of helped me, like my videographer, my um Kickstarter page person who wrote the copy, and she organized the shoot, and then my designer. So those three people kind of helped me, and also my Kickstarter coach who helped me get it to what it is today.
Because it looks so good, which once
Thank
again, guys,
you.
you have to check it out. So then if you were gonna like sit back and look at this journey you've had, what piece of advice would you tell, starting out Anya?
I would definitely say if you're struggling for funding, I personally think Kickstarter is the only way. If you can't like get like a loan, or you don't have some funding sitting, or you can't get a grant, I truthfully think Kickstarter is the way because it's also a great way to test your idea. So I would say I would last year trying to get funding like from investors, like grants, and it just wasn't working. Like I was obviously lucky enough to get one grant, but it wasn't enough, and it's just so different nowadays. And a lot of investors actually want proof in the consumer space, not like tech space, so different. They want you to actually have customers and not like an idea, which is super hard, especially because I was in an idea stage, but I also had an a product that people could use, and it had been tested, but they don't care. They care about numbers. So I probably would have said I wouldn't have wasted my time trying to get investors on my radar because it was just a waste of time, truthfully. Yeah.
It's yeah, that's like another full-time job on top of
Yeah.
building a business, is trying
Yeah.
to get investment, trying to get grants.
Yeah, that's a lot as well. Oh god, yeah.
So then what's next for Beam? What's next? Like what's the vision? What besides obviously an amazing Kickstarter, what's coming down the pipeline?
Oh, new products down the line. I'm already planning. I'm really excited about those. So that's definitely one. And a lot of our community was involved in testing the current product. So that's still going to be carrying on, and even in all products, because it was so helpful to get their review and what they didn't like, and it honestly was so helpful. So yeah, new products down the line, and we only focus on products that are easy to reapply. So at the moment, so no like body creams or face creams, it's just easy to reapply on the go products that get people to reapply. So that's kind of like my core focus. Yeah, I would say in the next few months, and also launching. Yeah, because again, into the world and not Kickstarter.
No, that is amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so
Oh, thank
excited to see
you.
where Beam goes. It's going to
Thank
be
you.
beaming, I guess, out of this world soon. I had to give a terrible pun there.
Oh,
So
no, it's great.
I will share it with everyone where they
Thank
can
you.
find you and where they can find Beam. And I look forward to hearing about all your future successes.
Oh, thank you so much. Likewise, thank you for having me as well. I really appreciate it.
What I loved about her story is one, it's honest and truthful. I've met other founders go through the wheels of investment with no avail. She really talks honestly about what it has been like from building a formula to a spray bottle sample all the way to this incredible aerosol sunscreen. And she doesn't lie when it comes to Kickstarter. It does take a village. So if you're interested in getting your hands on Beam, because if you're like me, you need that SPF. I think everybody needs the SPF. Then be sure to check out the link in the show notes because the Kickstarter is live and you are not going to want to miss these prices and supporting this incredible female entrepreneur. So that's this week's episode of Everyday Entrepreneurship. Be sure to follow. We have a new Instagram handle just for the show where I'll be sharing with you exclusive tips and tricks as well as video clips like this conversation with Enye on there. And if you want more support when it comes to building your business, check out the various ways you can get in touch with me in the show notes. So, until next time, guys, thank you for listening. Give me a follow, a review, or share this with an entrepreneur who needs to hear Enye's story. Until next time, this is Everyday Entrepreneurship. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Everyday Entrepreneurship. To stay tuned and most up to date, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me, Caitlin Fritz, on Instagram. And if you have any questions about building your business with impact, drop me an email with the link in the show notes.